who here thinks the Earth is a globe?
Oh, man.
We starting off hot.
Yeah, right. Like, listen, I raised my hand to it because when we were growing up, that's what it was. You know
All
what I'm
right,
saying?
let fire in the hole. Let's go. And
Let's get it.
it's all about asking questions and listening to answers, and let's go.
Yeah. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. We are back. And yes, we back on the Pretty Much podcast, and we got a special, very, very special guest. So he is a host of the Flat Earth podcast. He's been on many shows. Alex Jones, Interwars, Chris Jericho, WWE and AEW, Talking Jericho. We Are the People Radio. He's been also on morning and TV and morning and talk radio on from New York City, Toronto, Vancouver, and many more. We got Mr. David Ross in the building. David, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Premier Boy Podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. And I've been on a lot of stuff, and now I'm here talking to you, Globers. I got 4 Globers. Let me tell you how rare this is. It's 2022. It is so hard to find anybody that believes we live on a spinning space pear flying through an infinite space vacuum. It's crazy, and now I'm here. I am blessed.
Yes, and we are happy to have you here. And we were shocked that you had others to come to the show. So this is an honor. So
I'll talk to anybody. Did you guys catch the Killer Priest show I did the other night? You know who Killer Priest is? Killer Priest podcast from Wu-Tang. Oh, it was a good show. Interesting.
Oh, wow. No,
yeah.
I got to check that out.
Pretty good. Shout out to Killer Priest doing big things out here.
Yeah. Okay. So where do you guys want to start? Like you throw it at me because we can go 600 ways.
So I'm gonna start a little simple. I'm gonna start with where you're from and how would you growing up. Just to warm up a bit so the crowd to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, no worries. I grew up in the East Coast. I've kind of lived in the same town my whole life. Went to college, worked in corporate America, left corporate America, started my own company, did well there. And then I walked away from everything I had accomplished to do this, to talk to people like you, to help wake people up from the sleeping coma that we're all in. We're all living in the Matrix, basically, in a mind control program, and no one knows it. And when you unplug from the Matrix, then all of a sudden you can see the world. It's literally I was thinking about it today, the movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves. It's an instruction manual. It literally is an instruction manual on how to unplug people from the mind control.
I mean, I could see that being a thing because, that's when we watch The Matrix, you have that choice initially, whether to take the red pill or the blue pill, whether you want to stay asleep or, wake up and find out what the world is really about. Speaking of the world, and the shapes, and there's many shapes and sizes, we're going to get into, we're going to just jump right into it. How did you land on the Earth being flat? Because I know growing up on the East Coast, kind of similar school systems, they always tell us about the world being a globe and the solar system, planets, all of them being spheres, if you will, So from there to now, how did you land on this?
Yeah, so I did a podcast out of New York City called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and it was about about conspiracies. And in the third year of doing it, people started sending me, it was a pretty big show. Hey, have you looked into Flat Earth? And like any rational person, I would just delete those comments and ban them from our social media for being so stupid, from even asking me to look at something so stupid. But then they kept on coming, and a couple persistent people. And finally I just said, you know what, I'm just going to disprove it. And when you try to disprove Flat Earth or prove the globe, you realize that everything you were taught, you weren't taught anything. You were told. For example, we are told that this is a photograph of Earth. Actually, we're not. They just gave it to us. They say it's from NASA, but they never said it's a photograph. And the guy that painted this, his name is Robert Simmons. He's a NASA visual artist, and he admitted that he made it in Photoshop. And his famous line is, "It's made in Photoshop because because it has to be. You zoom in on it and you'll see that the clouds are stepped and repeated. He's not even good at Photoshop. He's lazy. And he used the same clouds again and again. And there's all sorts of problems with the globe. I mean, if you look at the NASA, these two pictures, I think they're 8 or 10 years apart. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. If you look at these, let me give you a different shot. It's easier to see. Look at the United States here and look at it here. You see a problem? Both these balls are the same size, but the United States is almost twice the size over here. So when you start really looking at what they show us, and then you start wondering, like, why every time that they show us a picture of Earth does it look like something ridiculous and unlike any of the other ones? You know, why doesn't anything match up? When you look at in 2015 and 2012, they gave us two pictures, but the clouds, I think this is the one where the clouds are the same. That's not the one with the clouds the same. No, I had one. I thought that was one with the clouds are the same. But again, the size of the United States over here and over there, absolutely ridiculous. Here's the one I wanted to show you. This is the 2012 picture. You got the United States here. You got Mexico running down to South America. So on this map of the world, I've kind of circled everything you see. You have to believe that the rest of all of these continents are on the other side of this ball. Does that make any sense to you?
I mean, I could see where it will make sense at. However, one thing that I would think about when you describe this is the fact that the Earth does rotate on its axis. So you might not get the same type of picture you would get one year that you would get the next year. Also, you take account of like global warming and things like that.
I'm looking at this though. This is the United States is here. All of this has to be on the other side of this ball. When you're looking at a ball, you're seeing half of it. No matter what angle you look at a ball from, you see half of it. So here's half of it. And this is the other half. You know, here's the one I wanted to show you. 1978 and 2017, same clouds. Look at this, same cloud. They put the same cloud overlay on this. Is that a problem? I mean, we've caught that. If we get into NASA a little later, you'll see that everything that NASA shows us is complete and total garbage. NASA is not a space agency. They're a Hollywood green screen studio to deceive the human mind, to keep them trapped again in the Matrix.
Yeah, you know what crazy? That was one of my questions I got to ask you about later too, about the NASA and Disney. I got to ask you about that later, but yeah.
Yeah, this is a NASA photo. Here's Lake Tahoe. Well, here's Lake Tahoe from an airplane. You know, where's this giant lake with the curvature? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of that, since we're getting into NASA, you want to ask your questions regarding NASA?
So I listened to your interview on Talking Jericho, which, by the way, is a really good interview. I learned a lot doing that interview.
Thank you.
And you mentioned about NASA and Disney being the same company. So I want to know, explain more about that.
Well, if you look at the founders of NASA, okay, hey, in America, you know, we're done with the war. We're going to create a space agency, and who are we going to put in charge? Well, first guy they pick is Aleister Crowley. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He is probably the most wicked man on earth. He's super evil. Then Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, another crazy person.
He's definitely crazy.
Walt Disney, a known pedophile cartoon animator, right? Pedophile. Werner von Braun, a Nazi rocket scientist, and then we have Jack Parsons, another occultist. Okay, these are the founders of NASA. NASA is a Freemasonic, Jesuit-run occult group to control our minds. They use spells. That's how they get away with most of the stuff they do. And one of the spells is they have us in a spell, believing that we're a spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum in a godless or distant God universe, when the complete opposite is true. We are at the center of creation. All of the things that we see in the sky are within the Earth system, and we here are in this intelligently created system.
All right, so
Okay.
it is interesting. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
sorry. Go.
One. Okay, Robin. Sorry.
No, go.
All right, so granted, if NASA, right, is just a show, if you will, right? How do you explain space? Because a lot of the stuff that we learn from space comes from NASA, like
Yeah.
a gravity, different planets, different galaxies, things like that. How do you, if NASA isn't it, how do you explain everything else that comes with that?
Yeah,
Everything else that comes with space.
everything you know about space, every image, every story comes from either NASA or Disney, and then you have zero proof, right? You know, they tell us that the space, you know, the Hubble telescope is taking all of these amazing pictures. The Hubble telescope is complete and total garbage. Nobody's ever the Hubble telescope doesn't make any sense. Think about this. Here on Earth, when we have a giant telescope looking up, it's on a massive cement pad that's like 10 feet thick. And when they're taking a long-term, long exposure shot of the deep space, the technician can't even walk near the telescope because the slight vibration of his non-shoed feet, walking around in the socks, might vibrate the telescope a little bit and ruin the picture. But meanwhile, we're supposed to believe that this tin can wrapped in tinfoil is falling around the Earth at 17,000 miles an hour. The Earth is corkscrewing through space in 4 different directions at once, and somehow it's able to focus on distant stars. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This is an actual picture of the Hubble telescope. Okay. Remember what this looks like. This is like from 23 years ago or whatever it was. Right. And then just the other day, they did a repair mission on the telescope. And this is the picture that they show us. It's the same picture. It's the same picture. They didn't even make a new one. Okay. The Hubble telescope is also supposed to be in the thermosphere where it's like 3,000 degrees. Can you tell me a camera that can operate in 3,000 degrees? Absolute, utter nonsense.
Unless it's made of Kevlar.
Kevlar can't operate in 3,000 degrees or whatever. So if I showed you NASA, like, let's talk about the space station. If they were caught lying, faking space just once, that should be enough to unwind it to we never even went to the moon, right? But if I showed you 50 things, that should do it too. But I can show you 500 things. It's endless, right? So the International Space Station is basically just they do it different ways. So one way they do it, they have a 0G plane. We know what a 0G flight is, and they get 30, 40 seconds of weightlessness. Another way they do it, they're hanging from wires in a green screen studio, and they're doing stuff. Here's the guys. Now these guys are in a green screen studio. Watch what happens, right? And you look, they've got harnesses on. Why do they have belts, big heavy belts and heavy cargo pants when they're in space? Look, he moved his arm and it glitched. Green screen. There it is. Okay, green screen. Why are they using a green screen in space? Right? This happens all the time.
Nah, in our space. Right.
This happens all the time.
Guys, do you have any other questions before I ask my next one?
Well, I got more NASA stuff if you want to see a couple more. Here's Chris Hatfield. He loves singing. And so these guys are in different rooms. They figured to have Chris Hatfield upside down. And the guy holding the microphone mistakes where Chris actually is, and he sticks the microphone in his neck. It's in his neck. This is obvious fakery. Okay. He sticks it in his neck. Chris doesn't miss a note. It's ridiculous. Right. And then when they're showing guys, this is done on a 0G plane. Look at this guy comes in with his head is transparent. Watch again. I'll go back again. And when they fade him into the scene, watch his head. It becomes transparent. You can see right through his head. Okay. Again, just editing and complete and total crap. Right. This was at the end of a quick press conference, and everything that was floating glitched out, and they quickly cut away as soon as they saw it. And unfortunately for them, we grabbed it.
So the idea here is that billions of dollars have been put into confusing us, to tricking us into believing a heliocentric model versus a more geocentric model. So 2 questions here is, this is billions of dollars, Dave.
Well, what
you
you're,
Dave,
go,
right?
go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Year after year after year. We've been putting billions of dollars into NASA since the Cold War, right or wrong?
Well, that's what they tell us. I mean, money is, they don't need, the elite don't need money because they go like this and they make money. Okay. They need to control us with money. They need to let us work for money. Then they take half of it away in taxes. And then they literally control us with money. They don't need money. NASA gets $63 million a day. Do they really? I bet NASA gets about $2 million a year because that's all they need. Right. But they get $63 million a day of our money. That's what they tell us. Right. And, they're telling us they want to go to Mars, right, and build a habitat on Mars that doesn't have any air. There's no air on Mars, 1% atmosphere. There's no water. Now all of a sudden they found water. Why don't they just build a dome in Ethiopia? Right. The supply lines to get stuff there would be a lot easier. And there's already air here. And, there's so many things that they can do. But if you look at, at SpaceX, everything they do is fake. If you watch, even the other day they had Michael Strahan, right? They didn't show you any footage. They didn't show you anything that couldn't have been done in the studio. And his comment is, it's unreal. I want to go back. Break that down. It's not real. It's not real. Okay. That's what they quoted, right? They're actually laughing at us. When they show us these rocket launches, they always film the Jeff Bezos, dick-looking rocket doing this. Always. Okay, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Because they're literally mocking us with their nonsense, right? But
to what end is my question? Like a $1 billion governmental company can't have better. My first question was $1 billion company, $1 billion entity, not even $1 billion because you said money don't matter, right? So an elite entity with resources out the wazoo, they can't afford a better editor. They can't afford better.
Great question. And I actually think that they do it on purpose because in this world, there's rules and they're not allowed to break our free will. So they don't make it that hard. They tell us everything that they're doing. Right? NASA doesn't lie to us. They twist words and they give us clues. And if we're too stupid to see it and say, no, I do not consent, then we do it. The only control they have over us is in our imaginations. Right? And everything that's done in this world is done by offer and contract. And it's only when we agree that we agree. It's if we actually say, and play their game. Instead of saying no, we have to do a counter offer. That's all. That's a whole nother show. But
so it's kind of like,
what's that?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
So it's kind of like the theory where you can't, like a demon can't just come into your home. They have to be invited in.
Exactly. And so they have to be invited in. So what if the world was set up more like this? Hold on. Let me show you this first. So if the world is set up more like this, where instead of it being a spinning ball in a space vacuum, we're in what we call the Antarctic basin, right? Large bodies of water at rest need a container. Well, the container of our world is the shoreline of Antarctica. What do I mean by that, right? So Antarctica is the highest land on Earth, okay? Right? They tell us Antarctica is an island at the bottom of our ball, but they tell us it's the highest land on Earth. I always found that weird. Like, why is Antarctica higher than the rest of the land on Earth? It has the highest mountains, higher than all others, right? And it's the highest land on Earth. So the way I look at it is Antarctica is the shoreline. Whoops, where'd I go? Antarctica is the shoreline of our world pond. Right? If it was lower, water would flow to the next lower spot. So we live here and we live inside this pink line because this pink line is 60 degrees south. That's the Antarctic Treaty. And that 60 degrees south, nobody is allowed to go beyond that line without authorization. Yeah, you can go to that little peninsula in Antarctica and take a really expensive vacation for 3 days. You're not allowed off the boat. When you are, just for a little bit, no one's allowed to explore the outer lands of Antarctica. And in the 1950s, Admiral Byrd flew out there and said there's more resources than all the world needs, untouched land, no human has ever set foot upon. And then they come up with the Antarctic Treaty. No one's allowed to go there. We have to protect the penguins and the ice. We have to protect the penguins and the ice, but we can deforest the Amazon, the lungs of our world. It's like this treaty is still in place today, and it's the longest standing treaty ever, right? Longest standing treaty ever, and nobody has challenged it. Okay, and you're not allowed to question it until the year 2043. That's since 1959. You can't even question it. No corporation can go, we want to go there. There's oil, there's uranium, there's gold, all sorts of stuff. Nothing. No one's allowed to go there. Why? And that's because if we went there, we'd find out what the heck's going on. We'd find out, that the Earth is not a globe. So what is out there? Well, again, anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is pure speculation, or anything above higher than we can reach. Again, it's speculation, but I like to speculate. What if we lived here? The elite have put us in a prison by saying no one's allowed to go here. But there's stories of people going beyond there and finding an open way and finding more land, extra land, more land, extra territory, extra terra, extraterrestrials. If somebody lived there, they would be an extraterrestrial from where? The outer space. We live here in the inner space. Here is the outer space. Okay.
Hey, I have a question that's a little off of this topic. Right. So if you say that the Earth is flat, how do you explain the fact that we're all in different time zones, like how we're talking now at night?
Yeah.
As across the world, you have people in China eating breakfast. Absolutely. How would you explain that?
Yeah, so first let me explain circumnavigation, and then I'll jump into time zones, because circumnavigation will help you understand it. All so right. On the flat Earth, the center of the flat Earth is where we have our magnetic pole, right? So I have a magnet here, and this is a compass. Notice the needle is pointing towards it. So I'm trying to push this compass west, and I have to keep turning to maintain a heading of 270 degrees west. West is not a straight line. This doesn't prove the Earth is flat or a globe, because it works the same on both. If I want to go east, I can't go in a straight line. I have to keep turning, because I have to keep that needle pointed towards the north. So east and west are circles. Most people don't realize that. If I want to go dead west and not turn, like, okay, I got my compass on west, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to go straight. As soon as I start going, I'm heading south. As soon as I start moving, I'm no longer heading west. I'm heading south, because I'm not correcting my course. Every one of these lines is heading south. Okay. Now, if I dead reckon south on a flat Earth, you shouldn't pop up on the other side. Like if Santiago, you want to out, you'd end up over here if you were on a globe. Boom, like that. But no one's ever done it. When you go south, you don't come back. Nobody has circumnavigated south. Now I'm heading north, heading north, heading north. And as soon as I pass the North Pole, compass did a 180. Now I'm heading south, 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 south. Every straight line is south. Every straight line becomes south, no matter what direction you point. That's a flat Earth, right? So nobody has circumnavigated to the south. Many airplanes have circumnavigated. Many people left New York to the east and went all the way around and came all the way back, right?
Yeah.
Billions of people have done it. 0 have done south-north circumnavigation. Nobody's done south-north circumnavigation. People say, well, what about Amelia Earhart? Amelia Earhart, she went east or west. She just basically, this is east, east, east. I'm heading east. I'm heading east. I'm heading east. This is all east. Or she went this way. It's west. West, west, west. West. She circumnavigated the lake. She just flew around. Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane. So now let's talk about seasons and time zones. So
wait. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me get so. And what I gather from, like, the first thing when you were going into extraterrestrials and extra territory, like, does that eliminate the idea of a vast space vacuum and put in that place of an idea more of a vast Earth vacuum?
Well, so there's no vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. You can't have a high pressure next to low pressure without a physical barrier. So if space is a vacuum, you have to have some sort of enclosure. But I don't believe space is a vacuum. I believe space is water. Maybe it's why NASA has all of their terms about space being nautical terms, ships and the Sea of Tranquility and docking, and it's all nautical terms. That's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But I don't believe there is a vacuum because it's physically, it's scientifically impossible. You can't have the official story is nothing exploded and became everything, and then all of the gases turned into these giant burning balls that had tons of mass and gravity, and all of the rocks turned into planets, and they left a vacuum in between. Now we have burning balls of gas in a vacuum. That's retarded. Okay, it's absolute insanity. So before we get into that, and remind me when we're done with this, we're going to talk about other planets and life coming from other planets and how absolutely absurd what we see in the sky. That's what we see in the sky. So this is my app called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Wherever the sun is noon. So it's noon.
Hold on. Say the name of that app one more time. Let's make sure the Premier family here. Say the name of the app.
The name of the app is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. If you want to find it, you can either just scan this or go to flatearthdave.com. Flatearthdave.com. Everything's there. But listen, the app's $3. I'm not here to sell apps. I'm here to give you the tools that you need to wake up. If you want to spend the $3, God bless you. And if not, don't worry about it. Just go read the reviews in the App Store and you'll become a flat earther. You don't even need to buy the app. So look here how you see how the light kind of wraps around. It's not like half, it's wrapping around. So if there's a dome over us, the optics of the light when the sun is out here will wrap around. I could show you the optics after this, but the sun migrates between the two tropics, the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. I know you've heard them, but you may not have okay, that's what stars. I don't quite understand it. But what it is the Tropic of Capricorn is this outer yellow line. On December 21st, the sun is over the Tropic of Capricorn. That's when, where are you guys located?
We're in New York.
You're in New York. I'm in Connecticut, dude. You in the city?
You in the city?
That's not that far.
I'm right in Greenwich, right on the Connecticut New York border there.
That's a train ride.
Yeah, I'm 35 minutes from the city. So we're having our winter now. Why? Because our small local sun is out south. It's like if you go out in the street and you got all the street lights and you're standing under a street light, the street light over your head, that's your summer sun. It's high above your head. It's close to you, right? Imagine that's a big heat lamp and you're standing under it. You're like, there's my heat lamp. Then you look at a street light, a couple blocks down the road. That light is lower in the sky, even though it's at the same height. It looks lower because it's over there. It's no longer up here. It's over there. It's farther away. That's your winter sun. So right now, Australia, South America, South Africa, they're having their summer because the sun is over their head. Now, if I jump the sun forward 5 months to June, the sun moves into the Tropic of Cancer. We're having our summer. Okay. Right now, in June, it's hot in Miami. Why? Sun's directly over Miami. It's hot in Mexico, Southern California, because the sun is directly over them. It's high in the sky. It's colder in Australia because the sun is farther away. Okay. Our North Pole is called the Arctic, and our South Pole, which doesn't exist, is called the Antarctic, right? Just remember those two words. They use words to cast spells. They use words to tell us the truth that we don't see. If you're inside of the Tropic of Cancer, inside the circle, we can consider that the Arctic North area. You're in the Arctic. The Arctic. The sun is ticking around us in an arc. arcing around us. If you're here, it's arcing around you. Sun goes around you. Okay. If you're out here outside of the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun doesn't arc around you. It comes towards you and then it antarcts away. That would be the Antarctic. Okay. They're telling us with the words. Okay. In the north, in June, at whatever latitude north we are, 6 months later in the south, at the southern latitude, equal latitude, you should have the same sun, the same weather, the same everything. But that's not the case. It's very, very different. It's very, very different. In the north here, in June, when the sun sets, how long is it still light for, guys? It's light for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
It's still light. In the south, 6 months later, places like in Africa, because the sun is moving faster, it's got this circle has more yardage, more mileage than our smaller circles. So the sun is moving at the same degrees per hour, but it's moving faster miles per hour. When the sun goes out, when the sun sets, 5 minutes later, it's pitch black. At an equal latitude that where we have 2 hours of light, they have 5 minutes until it's pitch black. Okay. That's because we're not on a spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum. So time zones are very simple. If I turn on the time zones, it'll just show you. Here are the time zones. Let me stop that. So right now it's noon right here in Eastern Australia. It's midnight over here. And the sun is small and close. Now people say, well, if the earth is flat, how come we don't see the sun all the time? And that's because I got a image. Oh yeah. That's because sunlight doesn't go forever. For example, here's the street light. I don't want that. Here's our street lights going into the distance. They look like they're going down. Well, here's the sun. It goes down. And as you're looking across the atmosphere, see this stuff right here? This is like the thickness of the atmosphere. The sun actually just gets compressed into the horizon and then it goes away and it sets behind that. It's not really going below it. It just sets to it. So let me show you a quick demonstration and then I'll throw it back to you guys. Where is my kitchen? Here we go. So I did an experiment. I call it my flat earth kitchen, right? So look at this line. This is the path of the sun and you can see that it's level. We're looking at it from an elevated point of view, right? I'm moving the sun along it. And here, this could be a skyline of mountains. It could just be an opaque cloud deck, but the sun is above it, never goes below it. Now, I got a camera on the counter, which is all the way down here on the far end of the counter, watching this thing go away. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like from that point of view. If I showed you this first, I would say, is this line level? And you go, no, it's going down. And I would say, is this sun going below this opaque barrier? And you'd be like, absolutely. Well, it's not. I just showed you that it's going level, but this is the perspective from a terrestrial point of view. And here it is. Look at the line now. It's almost going straight down, but it's still the same level line, right? And at a distance, this high mountaintop cloud deck is merged into the horizon, okay? Now, here we go again. Here's a real sunset. Look what's happening. The sun is going behind the atmospheric deck of opacity. It looks just like it. It looks exactly like it. When I look from Connecticut here, I can see the Whitestone Bridge and literally the clouds are merging with the bridge into the water. The whole thing is just compressed. Well, I know that those clouds are 5,000 to 10,000 feet above it, but it all comes together. Okay. And this is what happens. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. Now look, you see the difference between this apparent horizon and then what's it going behind here? If I zoomed my camera out, the distance between where the sun is going behind here and this, what we think is the horizon, it literally, I zoom out, it would just become one. You can't even see that. So when you zoom in, it opens up everything from a terrestrial point of view. Right? Here's another one more. Let's take this a little farther. So, you know, the lights look like they're rising, but they're just coming towards us. Our brain knows that, right? So here's a little demonstration. So this guy is looking up at a cloud and the cloud is up there. Okay. So then when we have a nice cumulus cloud day, they're all sitting on that nice deck, right? It's like they're sitting on a layer, right? So here are all the clouds on the layer. They're all at the same layer, but they look like they're getting lower into the distance. We've all seen this, right? You with me, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy is going to now look at, like, he's here in Greenwich, and he's going to look at a cloud over the Whitestone Bridge. Well, that cloud's over here. Here's the Whitestone Bridge, right? So he draws a line from his eye, actually like a string. We draw a string from his eye to that cloud. From his point of view, that string is parallel with the water going down Long Island Sound, right? That line, from his point of view, looks level. Don't you agree? Pretty level, close to level, right? Right. But say now you guys are in Long Island. I mean, in New York, you're standing under the cloud that he's seeing, and you can see the string that goes from his eye to the cloud. You're going to see a string going from 5,000 feet in the air, sloping down to Greenwich, right? That's from your point of view. You're both looking at the same thing. He sees a level line. You see this line. So now this is what's really going on from his point of view. The sun is just moving along. His point of view, his opaque cloud deck, atmospheric deck is along this line. So when the sun moves beyond, it sets because it's blocked, but his perspective makes that look levels. This is what's really going on, right? From his point of view, this guy's point of view, but this is what he sees coming up. This is what he sees because perspective pushes everything down into the horizon. So he sees the sun going down and getting blocked by that deck. They don't teach us this shit in school. Matter of fact, they don't teach us anything. They don't teach you to think. They teach you to memorize the Rockefeller-funded textbooks. And if you do that, you get a pass, you get your diploma. But if you question it, you go to the principal's office and you get a friggin' D or an F. Okay? Amazing, right?
I'm mind blown because I learned more doing this conversation than I learned in school period. So yeah, this is crazy.
100%. And when you actually take the time to observe in certain areas where you don't have mountains, like if you look west from New York, there's mountains in Pennsylvania and New Jersey that will block the sun. But if there's other places in the world where you have clear conditions and the sun will clearly just go away, you have to believe that we're falling over backwards, or is this sun just moving away? Right? The sun is just moving away. Yeah. I got a better one for you. This was filmed by a soldier in Afghanistan. Super dry, super clear, and the sun is just moving away, getting smaller and smaller like you would expect it to be in the flat earth model. But most of the time we're looking through over water, magnification, all sorts of stuff. And there's all, I always say the optics of the sky are no way to prove the earth is flat, but the shape of the earth, but you actually can. And Paul McCartney's saying, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning around. Absolute nonsense. So, can I show you one more thing, and then we'll go back?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So you guys believe, and by the way, I was you. Don't get, but and when people ask me these questions, I got everyone wrong. So here we go. How fast is the Earth spinning? Do you know at the equator?
I believe I heard about 93 million miles a minute. Or
no, it's
like
spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, right? Because it's 24,000 miles around. 1,000 miles an hour would make it go around once a day. Makes perfect sense. 1,000 miles an hour is faster than the speed of sound. So if I'm watching the sunset, the sun's not going away. I'm falling over backwards on a ball faster than the speed of sound. That's the heliocentric story, right? That's ridiculous. Okay. We're orbiting the sun. So we're orbiting the sun in an elliptical space, speeding up and slowing down with an average speed of 66,600 miles per hour. Does that make sense to you? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Okay. And not really. And then we're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. Okay. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. This is called the hypersonic sled track, right? You can just Google this and you can watch it with sound because sound will blow you away. This thing just went by at Mach 8.6. Mach 8.6, right? We're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. We're chasing the sun 100 times faster than that. But when we go out into nature, nature doesn't lie. Look at this water, right? Does that look like we're going in 4 different directions at once? Does this look like it's moving in any way, shape, or form? You stop your foot on the ground next to that, a ripple's going to go all the way across it. You carry a plate of water in a car and that car takes a turn, that water is sloshing all over the place. Okay? Nature doesn't lie, men lie.
True.
Which is true. But I do have a question regarding that, though.
Bring it.
Because you do say we are traveling about 1,000 miles per hour in space, right? But everything is still. Yeah, according to them. However,
wait, can I predict your question? Can I? All right, go ahead. I was going to guess what you're going to say, but go ahead.
No, I want to see it. Guess what he's going to say.
It's either that we're going, it's like I'm in an airplane and I can sit there and drink a glass of water and take a walk and I don't even feel that I'm moving, right? Or is it something? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, definitely. So
sorry.
It's all good.
I've heard it all though. Go ahead.
One of the things I do have. No, let's try having it. I'm like, that's not it. But one of the things I do have issue with that philosophy is that, gravity does play a big role into that. Big role into us being stable while we're moving around at that type of speed. So what's your thoughts when it comes down to that? And with gravity and us moving.
So which gravity you're talking about? Einsteinian gravity that says mass attracting mass, or Newtonian gravity, or maybe I got that wrong. Where the bending of space-time, right? Because they changed the definition of gravity not that long ago, right? Because they can't even make it up. You ask Neil deGrasse Tyson, the failed actor who pretends to be a scientist, he says, we don't know what gravity is, and they make up 96% of it to be dark matter and dark energy that no one's ever seen, no one's ever measured, and it makes no sense, but they're making it up to make their equations work. They make up everything. So what is gravity? Like, point down, guys. We're all pointing down. Down is this way. Up is this way. Left and right, forward and back, depending on which way you're facing. But in the South, people say the stars go in the opposite direction. No, they don't. Everywhere on Earth, the sun, moon, and stars all rise in the east, set in the west. No matter where you are, rise in the east, set in the west. Okay? That's because they're circling around the Earth plane. Rise in the east, set in the west. Period. The optics of the sky are no way to prove the shape of the Earth. So what is gravity? Well, we live in an electromagnetic system, and the ground has a negative charge to it. Measurable, testable, scientifically provable negative charge. All right. The air, the sky, the dome is positively charged. So when you lift up off the Earth, anything, it's now in a positively charged area. And the negative says, hey, down is this way. It's a weak force, just like they say gravity is a weak force. Down is this way. Then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. If I had some styrofoam pellets in my hand, some marbles, and a helium balloon, and I threw them, the balloon's going to go up, the styrofoam and the marbles are going to go down. If they landed on water, the marbles will go to the bottom, and the styrofoam will stay on top, all sorting themselves out because of buoyancy and density. The styrofoam is less dense than the water. The marbles are more dense. They go to the bottom. The helium is less dense than the air around it. It goes up. But down is this way because of the negative charge of the Earth. Well, how can we prove that? If you get something that you can keep a negative charge in it that outweighs the Earth, like we put a negative charge in this, we got little wires going in it, we put a negative charge, why does it lift up? Why does a negative charge defy gravity? Or is it just defying the negative charge of the Earth? Okay. This is going up because it has a negative charge to it. We can do all sorts of experiments showing you, this is a little harder to see. This is a Van de Graaff generator that puts a negative charge in things. And we got a plate here, a metal plate, and another plate here. I'll zoom in. And we have different things. We have sawdust, hair, pieces of paper. And when we crank up the Van de Graaff, it gets the negative charge. Things start going up. Why are they going up? Again, okay? And not just metal, like wood and everything. So it's this electric magnetic system that we live in, and down is down, up is up. Go ahead.
Okay, so electromagnetism plays a bigger role in keeping us on the ground than gravity would, because gravity is more
a made up it's a made up nonsensical thing. Yeah. What if when Newton was there and the apple fell into a tub of water, would he have gone, what the hell's going on here? Why is it floating in the water? Right? He'd have to start thinking about buoyancy and density. So, everything they tell us is complete and total and utter nonsense. You asked me why the lie. So let's talk about why the lie. So I don't want to save it to the end in case we run out of time.
Yeah.
So why the lie? This is a personal question. I don't want a detailed answer, but do you guys believe in a creator, a God, a creator, an entity, an intelligence better than us or bigger than us?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. For the most part.
Okay. Good. But I used to be, I don't believe any of that. Right. I believe the whole, lightning struck, pond scum created and turned into a fish that climbed out of the water, found another sexy fish that grew legs, had a monkey, and then the monkey had a human. I believed all that nonsense. You have to believe that if you believe in heliocentrism. But then I found out that none of the stuff they tell us about the earth makes any sense. The Big Bang is complete and total nonsense. And then I realized, wow, the earth is not a ball. It's intelligently designed. Therefore, there's a creator. The evil bastards that run this world, and I'm being nice by calling them evil bastards, they're soulless, godless. They hate God, and they don't want you knowing that there's a creator, because there's a verse in the Bible, and probably in other religious books too, that says, once you see my creation, you have no excuse to deny my existence anymore. And that's the truth. I was forced to accept that there is a creator. And then once I realized that, it's my personal journey of my relationship with the creator. And it's everyone's personal journey. When someone goes, well, what God do you believe in? What, that's none of anyone's business. Okay. But I know there's a creator because it's proven. So these bastards, they don't want you knowing that there's more land, that there's free energy, that there's, that we're at the center of creation. They don't want us knowing that we have the power. That they don't want us knowing that God exists. They don't want us knowing anything. They want us thinking that we're infinite. We're powerless little specks in an infinite space vacuum where an asteroid could take us out at any moment. Asteroids don't exist. Where we're running out of, fuel and energy. Untrue. It's unlimited and it's free. Okay. We're running out of food. Nonsense. I can plant a garden in my yard and feed my entire neighborhood. Okay. Water will fall from the sky and make the seed that I stuck in the ground turn into food, right? They don't want us to know that, they want us working and slaving away at our slave jobs to pay for power and food and housing. Basically, that's it. Imagine if everybody was just, they've brainwashed us into thinking that we need government, govern the mind, government, mind is mint, government. Right? They brainwashed us into that as a child. They brainwashed us into believing in the ball before we even went to school. Then we go to school. There's a globe in the front of the class, right? They teach us about the orbits of the sun, moon, and the planets, right? That's one of the first things that they teach us in school. Why? Indoctrination. They make that the foundation of our world, and then people will fight to remain plugged in the system. Just like Morpheus says, some people aren't ready to be unplugged. You guys are ready to be unplugged. I'm just giving you the information right now. And now here's the thing. Belief is the enemy of knowing. This is a quote by Crow 777 Radio. If you guys ever want to subscribe to a podcast that's going to teach you more than any college could ever teach you, and it's super awesome, crow777radio.com podcast. His stuff is amazing, but belief is the enemy of knowing. Where do I live, guys?
Connecticut.
Do you know that?
Hey, you just told us.
Do we know it?
Do you know it or do you believe it?
I mean, I don't know. I can't
believe it strictly based on what you said.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can say you're in Connecticut.
So definitely. So you believe it, and I seem like a good, honest guy, right? And so you have a belief. You've never verified it. Okay. You have a belief that the Earth is a globe. You've never verified it. Nobody has ever shown you anything other than cartoons and told you nonsense and equations. Okay. They've told you nonsense. So you believe the Earth is a globe. You never were shown any proof. You believe I live in Greenwich. I do. Okay. I do. I'm not lying. And it'll take you.
We don't know that.
You could probably take an hour and research it. You could say, all right, let's find out this fucker, Dave Wise. You could find, oh, look, he went to Greenwich High School. I found his yearbook online. There he is on Facebook. He's in the Greenwich High School Facebook group. All right, you
that's what you want us to think, though.
No, but here's the thing. Right. I could be scamming the whole thing. If you want to believe something, it's so easy. I believe it. All right, I'm done. Let's go drink some beers, take a nap, watch a movie. It doesn't matter. Your whole day's done. Or do you want to know something? You got to research it. You got to think about it. You got to do the effort. But here's the thing, guys. I went to school. I was good in school. I did well in school. I got good grades. I didn't get straight A's, but I got B's and A's. And I didn't really love school. Because the shit that they were teaching us is nonsense. It's just horrible. This stuff is so fucking interesting that you're going to love it. Flat earthers don't sleep because we're too excited to learn more stuff, right? So if you Google flat earth, you're going to get nothing. They talked about it in the Senate hearings about fake news, and they use the example of flat earth. They don't want us knowing that they are, they don't want us finding anything. And so they talked about, well, if you Google flat earth, we're going to give them more authoritative information. They're feeding you garbage. Google flat earth on YouTube, nonsense, all crap. And you'll watch it and you go, oh man, flat earth is really stupid. And then you'll leave. So I created this app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. And here's the thing. You guys know about Bitcoin? You know about cryptocurrency?
Yes.
Okay. I'm giving 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. And here's the challenge. You get the app, you click on this, the daily video, up opens YouTube, and up comes the video of the day. And watch the video every day for 2 weeks. And then either you'll lose the respect of your friends and family because you'll be a flat earther, or you think you'll have a proof. And if you have a proof, you can send it to me. Before you do, you have to click this button here, the question mark, and up comes the most frequently asked questions. Like, hey, what about seasons? We talked about that. Hey, what about ships over the horizon? If I click that, up comes a playlist of videos that Google will not serve you. They're out there, but they're shadow banned, right? You won't find these videos. And again, where do you get your information from? YouTube? Well, YouTube's a library of nonsense and good stuff. You got to sort it out, but it's hard to find the good stuff when they're hiding it. It's all being hidden. So watch this and then go do your own experiments, right? That's what happened to me. That's how I became a flat earther. Ships going over the horizon. I went out and bought a P900 super zoom camera, and I went out to Long Island Sound. I started zooming in on people on the beaches in Long Island. Well, there should be 25, 30 feet of curvature from where I was, from the height I was, right? I could look underneath the Whitestone Bridge from Darien, Connecticut, okay? I shouldn't be able to see the top of that bridge. I can see underneath the bridge. I shouldn't be able to see the top of the stanchions. Okay. It should be behind a physical curve. A globe Earth requires a physical horizon. At a certain point, everything's going to go behind a physical layer, but that's not the way it is. We can zoom in on things. So there's your frequently asked questions. There's all sorts of other resources in here. Down there's a curvature calculator on the bottom row there. Top row towards the right, you got my my interviews. This interview will be there. So if you want to see more stuff like that, it's there. There's books about flat Earth that you didn't know existed. Amazing books, right? There's all sorts of other stuff, different languages, playlists of different languages. But the most amazing thing is, hey, is Dave the only crazy person here? You hit the little handshake button and up comes a map. And these are the flat earthers that are near me. All those orange dots are new people within the last 60 days that have got the app and put a name in the friend finder. So this circle right here is, I have it set for 50 kilometers, and within 50 kilometers there's 261 people, right? And I could send them a message like, hey, I'm going to the gin mill on the Upper West Side Saturday at 2:00. Come on down, $2 beers, and boom, all the flat earthers show up there, and we take over the place. And then all the other innocent people that went there to watch sports, they come home and they go, yeah, the team lost, but the earth is flat. And then their life is ruined.
Well, Mr. David, I am mind blown. And we got so many more questions. I know time is pretty much over, but we got to bring it back to part 2. We have to.
Definitely got to be a part 2 for the questions, though, because
we still got more questions.
100%. So So here's the challenge I have for you guys. Get the app. Do you guys all have iPhones? I'm assuming because you're in New York.
I have my iPhone.
I'm an Android kind of guy.
Whoever has an Android. Use the email that you guys communicated with me with. Send me. Say, hey, I have an Android. I'll send you a free download for the app. You iPhone users, you got to pay the $3. Okay. Hey, listen, you with your fancy iPhone, you got to pay the $3.
That's phoneism.
And then start watching the daily video. The little button next to it that says archive. If you don't want to wait until the next day, hit the archive button. All the videos are there by month and year for the last 3 years. Just start watching those videos, and then soon you'll be like, I don't ever want to watch TV again. This stuff is so friggin' interesting, right? In the app, if you go to here, let me pull that back. The web button, which is the second row, the button that looks like a web. Why is that there? Get rid of that. Oops. The second button that looks like a web. If I hit that, up comes on the bottom row, second from the right, it says full length videos, FE movies. You hit that button. Instead of watching a movie on a Friday night, watch one of these. These are full length videos. I challenge you to get through 3 of those videos and not be a 100% globe denier. You will completely give up on the globe, right? So there's so much information in here. Top right, the lost history of flat Earth. Now, that's a 5-hour video, that first one. And when that was first sent to me, I'm like, I ain't watching no 5-hour video, even though I love flat Earth, right? I challenge anybody to watch 10 minutes, and then you'll say, all right, I'm going to watch 10 minutes more. And then 20 minutes later, you're not going to turn it off. You will not be able to turn it off. I actually resisted watching that one for bunch of days. And then one night, it was like 11 o'clock. I was doing some stuff. I was, let me just throw this on for a few minutes, right? Sunday night. And I'm doing some stuff and I'm watching it. And I stopped multitasking. I'm watching it. Next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. And I'm like, holy fucking shit. Right. And I had to watch it again, like a day or two later. It will blow your mind. So here's a challenge. We'll do this again in a month or so. Okay. And I want you guys to start watching those videos so you can come back with some real tough questions. I want you to ask me the toughest questions you can find. But you're going to learn so much. I'm so excited to see you guys again, because I'm going to come back and you guys are all going to be like, I got questions, but I know the Earth is not a globe. I got questions, but anyone that thinks the Earth is a globe is a fool, right? Not that you guys are fools, but once you see it, you can't believe that you ever believed it before. Once you see it, people kick and scream. Like when I was dragged into flat Earth, I equate it to like a teenage girl being dragged into a pit of alligators, right? I just did not want to look. This is ridiculous. I don't have time for this crap, right? And then I did it. I quit my own job. Guys, I had my own business. I was doing really well. I was in corporate America. I started my own company. I'm the CEO of my own company. I could do whatever I want. I walked away from it all to do this because this message is more important. Waking up you guys right here is more fulfilling than anything else I could do. It's up to you. I just showed you there's a whole shitload of doors that you've never seen. I just pointed to them. I unlocked them, and I'm giving you access. Now it's up to you, red pill, blue pill, which one you want. Okay.
Well, listen, this definitely does give me a lot of time to do some real hard on research to see where we at with it, and then we'll go when we do invite you back on, because it's definitely going to be a part 2. We can definitely ask some real breaking questions, like, all right, what's going on with this, in this scene, like, how do you explain that? So, it's definitely going to be this is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I'm definitely ready for part 2. I'm ready for part 2 too. We're gonna bring it back.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk
no
about
problem.
Stuff. We got a lot more questions.
Guys, you got your homework to do, and have fun doing it. Send me a link when this is up, and I'll share it around. And then good luck. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Oh, you got you. But before you go, drop your social media and everywhere they can reach you.
My Instagram is the Flat Earth Podcast. My YouTube channel is DITRH right here. DITRH. It's the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Lots of short videos there. Everything's under 5 minutes. Okay. But if you want to find the app, you want to find my podcast, the Flat Earth Podcast, just go to flatearthdave.com. All the links are there. flatearthdave.com. And that's the beginning of your journey. flatearthdave.com. Anybody that has a show that wants to book me, you can get in touch with me there. You can download the app. You can find my podcast. Listen to the podcast while you're taking a walk. It's good stuff. All right, guys, I do have to go. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you for showing up.
Man.
All right.
Definitely got to do this again.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.